Here's something that happens in local government organizations more than anyone wants to admit. A high performer, someone genuinely talented, someone who came in motivated and full of ideas, they slowly get quieter. They stop volunteering in meetings. They stop pushing back. They start doing exactly what's asked of them and nothing more. And eventually, they leave. Or worse, they stay. And they bring that quiet disengagement into every room they're in. And the leader, the one at the top, trying to oversee an amazing, awesome culture, is usually the last person to know why. I'm Seth Winterhalter, host of the HaltingWinter Podcast, founder of the MLDC, that's the Municipal Leadership Development Circle. This week, inside the MLDC, we're looking at the book, No Rules Rules. It's by Hastings and Erin Meyer. I want to share a few ideas as we dig into this week. Again, you can, if you want all the ideas, this is a great book. It's kind of one of these outlander books for local government. I take a book every week for the MLDC and it kind of unpack its insights, and they're usually from the private sector, but this book tells the story of Netflix, and Netflix is definitely an outlander when it comes even to private sector and some of the crazy things they've done for culture and for impact, and it's awesome. I think it will challenge you. It will be easy for you to go, there's no way we could do that inside of the constraints of local government. Here's what I think, and here's what I know, because I interview hundreds of local government leaders on the podcast every year. I have thousands of conversations, and I know specific leaders who lead in these unique ways, who just they are not willing to put up with the bureaucracy and the BS of what has been. They are impact makers, and those impact makers are so because they push against what always has been. And I'm not saying we got to throw all that out. There's some important reasons to have real foundational elements in our organizations, but there is a lot of it that is junk. And this is where you have to look at what are the rules that are keeping us from actually hiring great people, having great people, identifying and developing great people, and doing amazing work. So if that sounds like something you want to dive into, go check out the MLDC, HaltingWinter.com/MLDC. It'll take you there. There's a link in the show notes. Okay, back to the book. No Rules Rules. This is the book where Netflix co-founder Reed Hastings, alongside a professor, Erin Meyer, they pull back the curtain on the organizational culture that allowed Netflix to reinvent itself. And not just once, but 4 times over. Think about Netflix and their history. DVDs by mail. Then they had to develop into streaming. Then they had to develop into original content. And then they had to develop into this global expansion. I mean, Netflix is just ginormous today. Each of those shifts required something that most organizations cannot or really will not do. They had to move fast. They had to take big bets. They had to trust people to make good decisions without waiting for permission. And that last thing, that's the big thing you need to take away, because government does not move fast. It does not take big bets. It is not in the risk business, but it does need to trust people to make good decisions without waiting for permission always from the top, the bottleneck of all good work. The framework Hastings built, what he calls a culture of freedom and responsibility, those two have to go hand in hand. You cannot have freedom without responsibility. Those run on 3 principles: talent density, candor, and leading with context instead of control. Those are the 3 we're going to dive deeper on the next 3 days: talent, density, candor, leading with context instead of control. And then Friday, we're going to look at, well, what do you do? How do you actually take a step to move your culture towards this kind of idea of freedom and responsibility? I'm going to give you a little hint. I'm going to give you a little taste. And so let's start with talent density, because that's where Hastings begins. And that's what we'll dive deeper into tomorrow. The argument is simple. The quality of your team is contagious. When you have people around you who are genuinely exceptional, who bring their best thinking, who challenge each other, who make everyone around them sharper, the performance of the entire team will trend upward. But when you have people who are just coasting, who are just doing good enough, who've been in their role long enough that they've stopped growing, well, guess what? That is contagious too. And so you have to look, what kind of culture are we setting? I look at my own leadership journey, and this was one of the big lessons I had to learn. I spent so much time trying to make eagles out of turkeys when I just finally said, what am I doing? Why am I not hanging out with eagles? Why am I not investing the bulk of my time? I'm not saying I'm never hanging out with turkeys. I'm never, trying to go after, the lowest of the low. But I just found that when I and I think I did it because I thought that was servant leadership. Go to the lowly, go to those who have the most trouble. But what I found is it wasn't really raising the bar of them. It was just giving me way more work to do. When I started hanging out with the eagles, when I started, honing the eagles, spending time with the eagles, developing the eagles, it lifted the entire organization up. In fact, it turned some of those turkeys into eagles because they got addicted to wanting to soar. And it helped see who are the real turkeys who just have no desire, who are actually bringing down the culture. And then it was clear who to get rid of. Those are the kind of things we're diving into. And so I just encourage you, if you're looking for a way to grow as a local government leader, the MLDC is perfect because we give you a daily podcast, a daily blog, all under 5 minutes to digest. So you have something daily to chew on, but more important, you have a community of people working through the same thing. So there's always interaction. There's always people to reach out to and to get new ideas and insights from. So that's what we're up to. Come join us, haltingwinter.com/MLDC. Until next week in a new book, I'm Seth Winterhalter. Thanks for listening to the Halting Winter Podcast. Keep leading with impact.